All right, there it goes. Hey guys, again, welcome, welcome. So we just finished our party presentation, and I actually kind of like how this worked out because now we're talking about party games, which is such a huge part of your party presentation. So I love that everybody hung in there to be a part of this one as well. Both will be recorded and put up in the template library. And I know this is going to be a little overwhelming. This is a full hour of training, so don't, if you start getting glazed over, get up and do jumping jacks or something. But so we're talking about party games. Now, here's what I will say about party games. There is kind of mixed emotions on these. A lot of people are like, I don't play party games. They're a complete waste of time, and they're cheesy. Other people love party games because you can do party games that actually have a purpose. There's a reason for having them, and they aren't cheesy. I'm never going to tell you to play the cheesy ones. Yes, there are some really, really cheesy ones. Yes, there are some really, really not so fun ones. And I don't recommend those. The ones that we were doing 20 and 30 years ago or whatever, they're too overdone. You want your party again to be fun. People should have a great time. It should be exciting. And there should be some newness to it. So if you're on this call and maybe you've been playing the same old worn out games, over and over and over again, then this could be a good time to change it up. So let's talk about party games, because there's 4 distinct types of party games, and each one serves a very, very important purpose. I don't play games just for the heck of it. I want them to serve a purpose. They need to have a reason. There's a reason why they are at the time that they are, and there's a reason why I play these different categories. So number one thing is the icebreaker game. And this, literally does exactly what it is. It's to break the ice. Number 2, party booking games, getting your calendar full. Number 3 is a recruiting game, a way to just kind of get more information about the party opportunity. And then the last one is a time-consuming game. Now these, we're going to talk more in depth and give some examples of each one, but it's very important that you understand that there are 4 different categories of games that serve a purpose. There are other games out there that are just, no reason at all. They're just, somebody thought them up and they're just there. But these 4 categories, if you place them correctly, can actually be very, very lucrative to your business. So let's talk about the first one, icebreaker game. Okay, again, this one breaks the ice, breaks the tension. You're beginning to start, your presentation. You haven't talked about you yet. This is like the very first thing that you do as soon as everybody sits down in that living room. It's going to get the party started on the right foot. Remember, we're all about fun, having a good time. It should make your guests laugh. It should be something that is simple and silly and, just again, kind of breaks the ice. It's going to set the tone for how the entire rest of the party goes. This is the very, very first thing you do. It's your opening act. Excuse me. So make sure that you start by playing a game also. So if you imagine, let's say that the party was supposed to start at 6. So you got there at 5:45. People start arriving at 6 o'clock. You're talking, you're mingling, whatever. Around 6:30, the hostess says, I think everybody's here. Let's go ahead and start. And you're like, oh, okay. So everybody kind of congregates into the living room or whatever. Well, you don't want them to sit down and you be like, okay, let me talk about what you're going to, what I'm going to sell you. No. Start off by, having some fun and doing something that for no other reason is just to, again, kind of break the ice and set the tone for the party. Some examples, the just a phone call away. That one was my favorite, so I'll tell you how this one works. I had everybody get their cell phones, and I would have my cell phone also. And I would say, okay, this is going to be the easiest game you're going to win all night. I'm going to give you, and we actually did this at an event last weekend. I said, I'm going to give you my phone number. You're going to type it in, and at the count of 3, everybody hit send. Okay, so I would give my phone number, and I would say, okay, ready, 1, 2, 3, and everybody would hit send. Well, of the people in the room, everybody would get my voicemail except for one. One person would ring my phone. I would answer. I'd say, hello. And then the person, whoever's in the audience, she'd be like, oh, it's me. I'm like, see, I told you that was easy. Now come on up here. I'll give you a prize or whatever. And I say, everybody else, before you put your phone away, make sure you go ahead and save my number. And I say, my first name is Lindsay. My second name is my company, Party Plan Divas, or, whatever, Lindsay, whatever your company is. And say, no matter what, whether you need needs for a reorder, you're ready to have your own party, you want to join my team, there's a problem with your order, you got a question, whatever, I want you to know that I am always just a phone call away. So there was no reason why they wouldn't call you, right? So I made sure they had my number in my phone, in their phone. So important. They loved it. I got to give a goodie away, kind of broke the ice, and then everybody knew they had my phone number. Some other games are stuff like the intro game. Let me see. This one is like, if you have, depending on what your product is, I would have them say, hi, my name is, and then one of your products or something having to do with your party with the same name. So like, for instance, if you're doing a chocolate party, you have them say your name and the name of a chocolate candy. So, my name is Misty and I love Milky Ways, or, whatever. If it's a bridal shower, it can be, the name and their honeymoon destination. So, those kind of things. It's just kind of a fun way, and it makes them kind of think, because my name is Lindsay. And so like, I'm trying to think of a candy that starts with an L. So it makes you kind of have to go, I don't know, or, a place to vacation, like London, I guess, something like that. So anyway, it's kind of fun. Getting to know you is another one. And this one, I have all of this information in the training library, Party Plan Divas, but this one is, this is the getting acquainted game, one that doesn't have a name. It's just as simple as can be. Follow along and you will see. Since you're all nice looking glasses, you get 10 points if you're wearing glasses, and then 15 points for this and 10 points for this, and whatever. You just kind of read the card and everybody kind of keeps score, and then you have a prize for the amount of, whoever gets the highest number or whatever. And then the last one is the purse game. This one's fun. Spell something out and see if anybody has something in their purse that starts with that letter. So that one's, really fun. It can be like, rapid fire. Or I went to a party where this game actually kind of went throughout the whole party. Every time she started talking about something else, we all had to dig in our purses and find something else. That was a lot of fun. Okay. So booking games. Purpose of this one is to fill your calendar, but it's in a way that is no pressure. This is about giving your guests the option to book. I used to hate, and nothing will kill a party faster than you do like a book to look thing, and you've got somebody who opened their package and they're like, oh man, I have to have a party. Okay, that's not what we want. We don't want people having a party out of obligation. We want people to want to have parties, because, is that a good party booking if somebody's like, oh gosh, because I was in this stupid slip of paper, I had to have a party. We don't want that. And I've seen it happen. I've heard about it happening. You guys have experienced this. You don't want somebody to have a party out of obligation. You want them to have a party because they want to have a party. They want to earn free products. They want to have a good time again. That's how you make sure your party is going to be worth you even showing up. So there should be no pressure. It should be a booking game that offers the incentive for booking, shows why they should book and stuff like that, so that they then choose that they want to have a booking. So a couple options for this one. One of my favorite ones was roll the dice. I actually did a video on this one. You guys may have seen. I use these big pink fuzzy dice. And as people walked in the door, I would have them roll the dice. And then whatever they rolled, I would put the smallest number first, and I'd write on their name tag. So like if they rolled a 2 and a 6, then I would write down, 26 or whatever on their named card. If they rolled like a 66, then I would be like, oh, I didn't see that, roll again, because I wanted them to, get a lower number. And then during the presentation, I would hold up an item that was, quite expensive, like one of our best sellers or whatever. And I would say, everybody's number, you all have your numbers. Anybody who wants to host us a party, you can get this product for the number that you roll, because it was a roll of dice or whatever. So that again gave them an incentive. And I would let them roll. I wanted them to get pretty low. It was okay for me to spend a couple bucks out of my own pocket to get that booking. So even if it was a little bit, more than, because I'm still getting my discount on the product. So, it wasn't too much that I was losing, but it would be worth those couple bucks. And when people walked into the ordering room, I'd be like, oh, you can order that product for 12 bucks. Aren't you lucky? Do you want to have your party, or, you ready to schedule your party or whatever? Because again, their name and their name tag was still on there. So that was a way to kind of, encourage them to book also. Other ones, drop the shoe. When everybody walks in, you put all the shoes in a pile, and people go and pick different shoes, and that's their shoe partner. And they go and talk just for a few minutes. It's kind of icebreaker and booking. And they say, this is my new friend so-and-so, and she should have a party because blah, blah, blah. And then the lei game was fun. I've seen this done with leis. I've seen it done with necklaces. I've seen it done with charms, little dangle things, whatever. But basically where you give your hostess, oh, I've seen it done with bracelets too, but basically where you give your hostess like 3 items, like 3 leis or a necklace with 3 charms or 3 bracelets or whatever. And if she can get rid of all 3 from people that want to have a party that night, then you have an extra incentive for her. And what I did was I actually kind of presented that during the 3 ways to be involved or participate that we talked about in the last call. So when I would say, you know, if there's more products here than your checkbook's going to allow you to get, then you can consider hosting a party like so-and-so did tonight. In fact, we're going to play a little game. If you can get rid of all 3 of these, whatever, and I go and I put the bracelet on her or put the necklace on her, whatever. If you can get rid of all 3 of these, then I have an extra special gift for you too. So ladies, when you decide you want to have a party, raise your hand, say I want to have a party, and she's going to come and give you a bracelet or necklace or whatever. So that was a fun way, again, to give people the option, but it also really showed how their party bookings were helping their friend who was the hostess. Okay, and again, the actual verbiage of all of these are on the training library. So if you're, you know, if I'm flying through this too quickly, you can go through that. All right, so recruiting games. Recruiting games highlight the business opportunity in a way that is, again, no pressure. So I don't want you guys to feel salesy. I hear that all the time. I'm not pushy, I'm not a salesman. Here's the thing, I don't ever want you to be. You shouldn't ever have to be. You're not in the convincing business, and you don't ever want to push anybody into anything. So that is perfectly fine. You should never feel that way. I want you to always feel great about everything that you are saying. It will be more genuine. People will come to love you for that. There were products that I knew in my product line that were terrible, and I would just say, you're not going to like that. Here's what I recommend instead, or here is the feedback that I got from people who have used that. Why don't we try this on you instead? You know, and sometimes the other product would be, you know, less expensive, and they're like, really? I'm like, no, I'm not just about the sale here. Like, I want you to be happy. You always want to focus on the customer, and then you should never ever feel salesy. The same thing is true with recruiting. You're just simply highlighting the opportunity and showing why it is so great and letting them choose for themselves that they want to join your team. So we're showing the income potential, we're showing the other aspects of being able to, you know, again, meet new people, be your own boss, you know, those type of things, those key phrases that we, you know for this industry, those are important. And it should make your guests laugh. Notice all of the parties have gone down to it should make your guests laugh. Because again, remember, we're at a party, we're having fun. So some examples of this, I had $100, oh, and I meant to have them here. I'm actually going to be giving some away at Wednesday's Twitter party, so you guys mark your calendar for that. But I have these little $100 bills. They're a little package, little Ziploc of $100 bills, and they're blank on the back side, so you put your information on it. But anytime I would say a specific word, or I would hear somebody say a specific word or whatever, or if they asked me a question about the business opportunity, I would give them a $100 bill. And then, you know, they would have it and it had my information on the back of it or whatever. You can also, you tell them to put it in their wallet. So if that wallet is ever empty, then they're going to think of you. You know, you can play that game however you want to, handing out the $100 bills, have a prize for whoever made the most money that night, or, you know, that kind of thing. Big money, little money was fun. I used the same little money, but I also at the dollar store found great big play money. Right now for school, there are tons of them there, but it's great big money. So I had these little bitty dollar bills, and I had these great big dollar bills, and I would call 2 people up to where I was doing the presentation. And this one takes a little more, you know, work, but I would have, you know, one person I would say, you're going to join my team and, you know, blah, 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 blah. You, however, what is your favorite store? And they would say, you know, Nordstrom or whatever, and say, okay, you're going to get a part-time job at Nordstrom. So, you know, this person, she's going to work for 40 hours a week. So, you know, you're making $10 an hour, so I'm going to give you $400. And then I'd be like, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm not. And take it back and be like, you don't get paid till Friday. And then you turn over to the next person and you're like, okay, now you just had a party and blah, 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 so this is what you're making. And then you go to this person, it's like, oh, you know, you're not well, so you're getting, you know, nothing this week because you're sick. You, on the other hand, you have a team that you've built and you've trained to do, so here's what you're making on your team. You know, so it really just, you go back and forth and back and forth. It's very, very funny. It's shows very clearly the difference in having, if you're going to have a part-time job, having one that is, you know, your own, or having one that you're working for somebody else. But at the end, then you can kind of also see where the money ends up, because you can make your person make more money, because of course we have more income opportunity. And then the other thing is a recruiting rhyme, which is similar to that intro game. Like, it's just, there's the poem is in the back, but it's, if you have done any selling before, put 10 down for your score. If you have a car and are able to drive, the thing to do is add just 5, that kind of stuff. So they kind of, add it up again. It's a fun little thing, and they add it up, and then you give a, prize to whoever, whatever. All right. The last one, time-consuming games. Now, the reason why this is important is because you don't want people waiting on you. So whether you are, trying to pack your things up, maybe the hostess is still trying to wait on people and everybody just kind of standing around, like looking at each other, wondering when the party's going to get started, because the hostess wants to wait on her best friend who's notoriously late or whatever. You can play a time-consuming game. This is designed to entertain your guests while they're waiting. It needs to be guest played, so it needs very little interaction from you, because the time that I played the most time-consuming game was while I was packing up my kit to head to the ordering room. I did not leave all my stuff out. It took me a few minutes to pack everything away, put everything back in its box or whatever. So it took a few minutes, and I didn't want them to be waiting on me. I wanted them to play a game, and then when their game was finished, they could really look through the catalogs. I also didn't hand out my catalogs until the very, very end. I think that was important too. I wanted them to listen to me, not be flipping through. They had the lap boards, so they didn't necessarily need the catalog. But guest played, something that they can have a good time with, and then got to make them laugh. Okay, we talked about how the final product is a big deal. The final game is going to be a big deal too. They're going to remember it. So this one needs to be, the sole purpose is to kill time and laugh. So a couple examples of this one, the Hawaiian Island game. This one was fun. You give everybody like an index card, and they have to close their eyes and draw out, and you give the hostess the list. And so they're, trying to first draw an island in the middle of the paper. To the left of the island, draw a ship. You're surrounded by water, so put some fish in the sea. And they're literally like, with their eyes closed, trying to draw this out. And then, you go through the whole thing, and then you look, and of course, the Hawaiian Island looks ridiculous because none of us can draw with our eyes closed. So it's really, really funny, and you have people that are like comparing, and you've got fish in the sky and birds in the water, and there's one where it says you draw like a hula person on the ship, and of course, half the time she's drowning because you're not even remotely close to the ship and stuff like that. So that one can be really, really fun. And then give a prize to whoever gets the closest or funniest or whatever. Another one was Say What. So this one was just kind of on whim. Take pictures of like celebrities or whatever. You can get People Magazine or OK Magazine or something like that. Take pictures of magazines, and you can put them on like sticks or whatever, and everybody can come up with a caption for it, like a kind of a caption this kind of thing. That can be really, really funny. And then the Pass the Prize. These are fun. So you give 1 or 2 people prizes, and then you have the hostess, read it out. Thought these gifts were meant for you, but let me close this a little bit. But I have other items too. Hold the gifts and look around. Give it to the one with Isaac Brown. And it goes around in different size shoe, and who's wearing glasses, and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, you've got the hostess reading it, you're packing up and you're doing your thing. She's reading it, they're laughing, they're passing the gift around. It's kind of like Dirty Santa, where you're like sad because you have to give up or whatever. So that one can be, again, a lot of fun also. All right, so those are some of my favorites. Again, the thing about having games to play at your party is they should all serve a purpose. And again, there's more of these and more details on these specific ones in the training library under party games. But if you're going to play games, don't let them be cheesy ones, and have them serve a purpose. If you play a game that fills your calendar, it was worth that extra 5 minutes that it took to play it. If you've got people wanting to join your team, if you've got people that aren't bored at your party because they're waiting on you to pack up your things, or if it sets the tone that everybody has a really great experience from the very first moment that you start talking, then that party, that game was absolutely worth it. So I would say play some games. I actually, just for the record, I played on my personal party, I played an icebreaker game to start. I played a booking or a recruiting game when we came back from the break, because my party was a little bit longer than 30 minutes. So we would take a break, and then I would come back, and that's kind of how I reconvened everybody, was to play either a booking game or a recruiting game in the middle. And then I finished off with a time-consuming game so that they wouldn't notice while I was packing up my things. They would be finished and get, looking through the catalogs and stuff like that while I headed into the ordering room. So that was kind of the way that it worked best for me. Any questions? All right. Well, I think next week, I believe we're talking about ordering room success, which is, I've never seen training on this, so I created it about a year ago or so. It's what happens. You've done this great party, you've played these great games, everybody's excited. What do you say and do in the ordering room? And so, join us next week. It'll be next Monday at 12 noon. The Party Plan Divas offices are going to be closed Thursday through Sunday, but we will be back here on Monday for our call. And make sure that you mark your calendars for Wednesday for those Twitter parties. I have all kinds of cool stuff to give away. I have business card baggies. I have those dollar bill things that you can play these recruiting games. I have Diva Success System planners. I have just all kinds of really, really great stuff. So we've got tons and tons of stuff to give away. So I hope to see you guys then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.